What's up, market snipers? This is Jesse. Today, we're going to do a Bitcoin update and look at a potential high risk opportunity. So let's dive right into the charts. We're going to make the chart a little bit bigger here and take a look at Bitcoin. So overall, on Bitcoin, we always like to start off with the higher time frames, right? So the weekly chart, as you can see, we had that bullish move up, that nice Bitcoin rally, right? Over 100%. Followed by a breakdown, and the weekly chart is now bearish, right? So the weekly chart is currently bearish. It's been bearish. We've been talking about since June when the weekly chart was putting in bearish divergence. All the signs we're saying on a longer time period that we would see a more sustained correction, whether that's a time based, or if it's like a lower correction, or both, right? Time and correction. So, and that has turned out to be true so far. Since the bearish divergence of June, we're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is going to be the 12th week since the bearish divergence. So price didn't continue to move up into the, and take out the 2023 highs at, say, 31,800, and go up and see prices at 32, 34, 35, and didn't hit higher targets that we potentially had, right? Instead, it was looking like it was rolling over. There was bearish divergence. There was RSI sell signal, MACD bearish crossovers, all that stuff that we talked about, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at, is it breaking down now? Well, the weekly candle on my time zone is closing in, the weekly candle is closing in 40 minutes, but on my time zone is 5 p.m., right? So 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's going to be another bearish weekly candle. So you still have the trending dots coming down. So overall, the weekly trend is still downward. And so we'll see, if it's going to start to continue to roll over from here. We'll drop down to the daily chart. You can kind of see here, right? After hitting 2 targets to the upside, we'd be looking at, drawing out a trend line similar to, you have this trend line here. We had this drawn out originally. There was a breakdown, right? I even was showing the 8-hour chart, and I posted that 8-hour chart today over on the X app, right? Still trying to get used to that, the X app. And this is the 8-hour chart, right? So breakdown. And if you were to redraw a second trend line, right? A second trend line, bounce, right? And then just really on the 8-hour chart, you can see it just literally just moved sideways, right? Came back up, did a little fake out to the upside with a wick. And now the 8-hour chart is finishing downward. So the 8-hour chart will also close in the next 40 minutes. So this is going to be, it's looking more and more like confirmation to the downside, at least on the 8-hour chart. We do have another pending sell signal. So after going sell signal, nothing happened for 2 days for the most part. And now price is breaking down again, and another pending sell signal from there, right? So still looking bearish on the weekly chart. It's a pending sell on the daily chart. The 8-hour chart already had a sell signal back here, and really has just gone sideways. So there was no buy signals on the 8-hour chart. And, this was a key target area to the upside. So it starts losing that area. Most likely you're going to come down and start seeing those longer term targets, or the higher probability is that these targets become more and more in play, right? So with that, you can still say that our original thought was price could come down, find support, kind of build out this lower high, aka a right shoulder, and then come back down. And I mentioned way back here, weeks ago, if not months ago, more than a month ago, probably, definitely weeks ago, that this could take a while to play out. This could take weeks or months to play out, right? So it wasn't going to be, like on this wick here, I would be surprised if it was just like a wick up and came back down, but possible. I was thinking it was going to be more of like silver and gold, where it found support on the weekly, kind of rolled over, back tested the trending dots downward, which has gotten very close. And it would take weeks, if not months, to play out before coming back down to the lower target. So that's the update. It is breaking down on the daily chart. So maybe that's it. Maybe it won't continue upward and it won't take as long. It took a few weeks here, but it didn't take, weeks or months for it to kind of roll over. And that might be also because of the overall NASDAQ market. So before we jump into the high risk opportunity, the potential of it, the bonus, what you'd want to do is go in and check out this this latest video that I did yesterday. I spent 25 minutes looking at like a possibility of an overall macro potential market crash that we've talked about and thought of as a potential idea back in the Discord, Twitter for more than a year and a half. So this isn't something new that we're jumping on the bandwagon. We were one of the first ones to talk about it. Then we talked about the rally because we didn't want to miss the rally. And now it looks like it could be possible in a second lower high. You'll definitely want to check out the market crash. Check that out. And then join us tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to be on another live stream. If you're like me and you've got so many things going on, hit the notify me button. Then it's going to remind you, right? It'll remind you, or you can put it on your calendar, whatever you want. Obviously, feel free to like it. Liking, it helps the algorithms. If you really don't like it, hit the dislike button. I've got thick skin over here, and definitely share. And if you're a subscriber, then make sure to please comment on the live streams, whether you're on the replay crew or the live crew. Because if you're on the replay crew, I'm going to go back and take a look at the comments, do my best to look there. And then I will chart any symbols and assets you want me to, whether it's crypto, stock, futures, forex, whatever you want. I'll chart in the back half of the live stream for about 15 to 30 minutes. We ran over an hour and a half on the last one. And the first 15 to 30 minutes, I just kind of dive into the charts that I looked at ahead of time and see if there's anything important to look at and point out. So with that said, and assuming you already saw the market crashing video, let's dive into, we're going to go back to the weekly chart. Let's hide everything and then go to sqqq. So sqqq, what is sqqq? Well, let me read it to you. I mean, you can see it on the chart itself, and you can look it up. It'll tell you the exact definition, but it's the ProShares Ultra Pro Short QQQ. QQQ is the NASDAQ, right? It's the NASDAQ ETF of it. Or it's the ETF of the NASDAQ, right? This is the inverse of that. It's the opposite. So it's a pro short. It's a bear ETF, and it's 3x leverage. So for example, if you were looking at it and say if it went from $20 to $30, right? It's that percentage gain, as an example, from 20 to 30 is about 47%, right? It's a massive gain. And then you multiply that by 3x because it's a 3x leverage, right? So you don't even need to do options or have your own leverage. The ETF itself is a leverage. So that's why I say it's high risk and it's a losing bet long term. So it's more of like, do it your own caution, do it your own risk, maybe only use lunch money. Basically trying to catch lightning in a bottle, right? So what's interesting is there was a buy signal on the weekly chart, right? It looks like it's putting in a higher low. Okay. So putting in a higher low, and it looks like, in the near future, maybe we could see a buy signal this week, next week, maybe in a couple of weeks. I'm not sure. It's still pretty early. But if you drop down to the daily chart, let's see, and then look at, let me kind of zoom in here. This is based off of the weekly chart. I drew the trend line based off the weekly chart, but here's the daily chart, right? So you did have a buy, and then there was a correction and consolidation, and it looks like it did put in that higher low, right? So higher low followed by a buy signal, and then it gapped up and above the trend line, came back, possibly retested it yesterday. And on that, is the stock market crashing? Or no, maybe it was on the live stream. Maybe it was the last live stream we covered. I can't remember. They're all blending in now. I've been doing them pretty much every day. But I talked about, well, there was a breakout. It was on Thursday, so it was probably a live stream. So on Thursday, I talked about, well, it broke out, so it could come back, fill this gap, and or hit these trending dots and kind of do a fake out and come back and go out. Or in this case, it kind of did that. Like price went back below this trend line and then end up closing back above it, right? So it kind of did like a back test, and it looks like it's kind of, that was it. It might be breaking out. So it's gonna be interesting to see tomorrow what it could do before the weekly chart actually gets bullish and flips bullish and has a buy signal. You might see like another spike up, right? Pulls up the relative strength in the weekly chart, again, comes back. And this is like a wild animal. So it could literally be like, this is going to be an over exaggeration, but it could be similar to like the VIX, where it's like some crazy scenario like that. I don't think it'll be as crazy as the VIX, but just be aware that it could be something like that. It could be more of like one of those catch lightning in a bottle, right? Come back up, consolidate, and then come up and start hitting those targets and continue to do so, right? And so that's all going to be dependent on watching the daily chart and the weekly chart for, with the relative strength index continue to gain more and more momentum, right? So if we go back to the weekly chart, just want to look at it as, it is an opportunity, and we'll see what happens. If we hit target one, like I said, target one, even from here, it's right on the edge. So we'll see if there's a gap up tomorrow or not. Hopefully there's not. So I'm not currently in a position. Obviously, this isn't financial advice. This is for entertainment and educational purposes. But as a potential opportunity, I'm personally looking at this tomorrow. I won't be going heavy. I won't be putting in all my chips. I won't be using extra leverage. If I do anything, I'll just buy the stock portion of it, and a little bit more than lunch money, but I'm not going to go all in trying to win a Lamborghini off of it, right? So that, like I said, the first box is 40% multiplied by the leverage. You got the second box, 80%, right? Over 100% to the third box. So it doesn't have to go to the moon to have a huge potential win. And that's why this is a high risk opportunity, but high risk could remain high reward. And why don't go all in? Because it also means you could lose a lot, right? You could always lose, right? So with that said, keep treating this like a business. Even if you're going to try to catch lightning in a bottle, use proper risk management by not using as much money of your account and doubling down with options, most likely, whatever you're doing out there. But hope you had a good weekend. Hope you have a good rest of your Sunday, or if you're already in a different time zone, you're on Monday already, we're rocking and rolling. I'll get this sent out. I'm going to send it through the free newsletter. And of course, it'll be posted in the Discord as well. Thanks again for all your support. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow on the live stream. Later.